Pay attention, pay attention. Pay attention. I wasn't paying attention. And the Rambo is here. I was just reading an interesting news article. I hate moving things because sometimes shit collapses. I wonder where Kathy is. Kathy, where are you? She must not be paying attention to time, or she's preoccupied. So, how you doing tonight, Ron? There she is. All right, we can get started now. Kathy's here. Broadcasting live from downtown Cleveland. It's station WDWL TV. And I'm the Grumpy Old Man, and we're brought to you by Grumpy Vulture Productions. No bow. Had some trouble getting here. That's okay, you're here. That's all that counts. Boy, you've been having some crazy weather out there, Ron. I hadn't realized that weather was so goofy out in that state. Goofier than Ohio. I was reading an interesting news article just before Ron showed up. Last Wednesday at 8:15 a.m. on Route 74 in Swain County, North Carolina, an eagle dropped a feral cat and it went right through the windshield of a car and blew out the windshield. Holy shit. The whole passenger side was gone. Needless to say, the feral cat was no longer breathing. But yeah, the goddamn eagle lost his grip on his lunch. That's almost bad as a couple of years ago on the causeway going to Cedar Point. An eagle dropped a fucking carp and it went right through a windshield. I think those eagles must have a connection with Safelite Auto Glass. Like, hey, drop something through a windshield and we'll make sure you have food for a while. From what the article says, this shit happens all over. These goddamn eagles will either pick up something that is really too heavy to carry, or they go to adjust their grip and they lose whatever they've got. Yeah, maybe about 5 years ago on the Cedar Point Causeway, this eagle dropped this big fucking carp. And the pictures were cool because there's this hole in the windshield and a carp hanging. They took a shot from outside and from sitting in the car. There's a carp stuck in a hole in the windshield. Well, one is better than 100,000. You got lucky. Because had that been big hail, there'd have been more than one little micro ding. I got my new vape machine. I'm gonna cut back on the cigarettes. Bought me a fancy, and look at it's green. A green vape machine. Oh. Now all I have to do is see if I can find a green glass for in here. Matter of fact, I forgot to ask at the damn vape shop today when I went to get vape juice. I know they make them in colors. I've seen them. I'm vaping banana cream. Not bad. Then today, after 5 different trips to the store, not all in one day, I finally got to see my other little cutie cashier, and I almost didn't recognize her. Because the last time I saw her, she was blonde. She finally took my word and dyed her hair to her original color. Like an auburn brunette. And I told her, I said, you look drop dead gorgeous. Now, don't dye it anymore. Oh, I didn't recognize her. Because as I walked up to the cash register, she was turned around. She had her back to me. And I was like, oh, they hired another cashier, a new cashier. She turned around. I went, holy shit. She went, what? I said, you are drop dead gorgeous. Don't change that hair color. She goes, well, it is my original. I said, good. Leave it. I said, you look beautiful. She said, gee, my boyfriend didn't even say that. I said, well, then dump the son of a bitch. I don't know, during the day is a drop dead cashier. Drop dead gorgeous. This girl, I swear, could probably win a beauty pageant. And the other day, she had a new hairstyle. And I told her how good it looked on her. And she goes, you're always complimenting me. I said, well, you deserve it. And she goes, I says to her, I said, how many times does your boyfriend compliment you? And she went, not at all. I said, I would dump that son of a bitch in a heartbeat. I don't know what's with these young girls today. They let guys treat them like shit. Guys don't open the door for them. They don't compliment them. And these girls date these assholes. I don't understand it. I really don't. She told me she's got more compliments from me in a couple of months than she's gotten in 2 years from her boyfriend. I said, well, it's obvious he doesn't appreciate what he has. And it's her and the one I saw tonight, and the two cashiers up at Save-A-Lot, the one girl that used to work at Dollar Tree. None of these girls. I said, maybe what you got to do the next time you go out on a date, stand by the car door. Just stand there. And your boyfriend will probably put the window down and say, well, are you going to get in? And I told her, I said, just cross your arms and say, well, as soon as you open the door. And make the asshole get out of the car and open the door for you. Well, that's, Kathy, your grandson was raised proper. That's why. He was raised proper. These kids nowadays, of course, I would almost guarantee that their fathers didn't open doors or compliment their mothers. Because, it goes, downhill. If mom got compliments from dad and dad, opened the door and treated her like a lady, then that would be seen and learned. My son was taught right. And basically, we started at a young age having him open the door for his mother or carrying things for her. But I mean, here's five different teenage girls from the age of 18 to 21 that, but their boyfriends are assholes. Yeah, slather them up in that gel, Ron. You know, the days of chivalry are long gone. Long gone. And the only time you really see it is with seniors. Like the other day when I had to go up to the clinic, there was a woman walking up to the door, and she was coming from one direction. This guy was coming from the other. He opened the door for her, and she thanked him. And then he opened the inner door for her. She thanked him again. And then on a reverse, as I was heading toward the elevator door started to close, and the senior that was female that was inside pushed the button, held the door for me. And I says to her, I says, "You don't see this with the younger generation." She goes, "Nope, you don't." She goes, "As a matter of fact, these kids will shove you aside to get around you." I said, "Yeah, unfortunately." It is so sad. It really is. Oops. Pay attention to what you're doing. I'm trying to learn all the functions on the buttons. I almost locked the thing while I was trying to adjust it. Boy, I'll tell you what, I was really depressed today when I went into Mark's, and I was looking at the pies. And I'll tell you what, I looked at the pies and I'm just staring at them. And the assistant manager, he said, "Is there something wrong with them pies?" I said, "Yeah, I can't eat them." They were the most delicious looking pecan pies I have ever seen. And I can't eat them. Oh, God. And I love pecan pie. I I ordered one last, but it was just around this time, Thanksgiving. And I said to the girl at the bakery, "Can you crush the pecans? And she went, what? I said, yeah, can you crush them up? Make them real small? Like put them in a food processor? She goes, oh, let me go back and ask the baker. So she goes back, she asks the baker. He comes up front and he goes, you want me to do what? And I said, you ever try eating pecan pie with no teeth? He said, no. I said, well, it happens to be my favorite, and I can't eat it like this. And he made me a special one. The pecans were real small. Oh God, I was in heaven with that pie. Maybe I'm going to have to go up to Gigantic Eaglet and see if I can order another one. But oh, those pies, oh God, did they look good. They had just come off the truck. I was like, damn it. And if you pick the pecans off, you know, you're losing the taste of the pie. But I can't eat pecan pie anymore. One of the few items I can't eat without teeth. There isn't too much otherwise. I mean, when it comes to nuts, I can't. I used to love getting fresh roasted peanuts. Can't do that anymore. Fresh roasted cashews. Can't do that anymore. Fresh roasted pistachios. Can't do that anymore. Well, maybe with pistachios. I gotta try. Because pistachios aren't as hard as walnuts or pecans or cashews. I'll have to try some pistachios. Oh, I used to. I'll tell you what, I could sit in front of a TV with a big bag of pistachios and it would be gone. Oh, Ron, cashews. That was the great thing when I worked downtown. Because at least 3 times a week, I would go to Peterson Nuts and get a big bag of fresh roasted cashews. Can't do it anymore. And boy, do I miss them. But that pecan pie, oh, there were like 10 pies. Yeah, they just come off the truck from the bakery. I was like, oh God, I can't eat them. I mean, yeah, I could. Wait, you know, pick all the pecans off and just, no. I was hoping for another sweet potato pie because I I ate the other one already. I made a pig out of myself. Instead of slicing it in 4, I sliced it in thirds. I figure I'll get all this shit out of the way before I have to see the nutritionist, the dietitian. Oh, I got something to show you. My razor, my shaver, is just about dead. It won't take a full charge anymore, and it only runs like at half speed. So I decided time to buy a new one. So I stopped at the store I hate, Walgreens. I was looking at rechargeable shavers, and I was like, Jesus, I have to take out a loan to buy one here. So I looked at Mark's. So. If I was forced into it. Now, the shaver I was looking at Walgreens was a triple header, rechargeable, and 99% of the new shavers are wet or dry. To me, it doesn't make any sense to lather up your face and then pull out an electric shaver, but you can do it. So, the rechargeable triple head, wet dry electric shaver at Walgreens was $28.99. Mark's did not have one that was comparable. So I looked on eBay, and they were 12 to 17. So for the hell of it, I went to my good old backup source, Temu.com. I get a rechargeable triple header with battery monitor, $5.99. Almost identical to the $29 triple head shaver at Walgreens. $5.99. Black Friday special. If I get 6 months and it quits, won't be no skin off my back. But almost the identical same triple header. Let me take the cover off. $5.99. Rechargeable. I am going to take this to Walgreens and say, "You guys are a fucking ripoff. Look what I bought for $5.99." And I mean, except for the name, it's identical. Identical to the one I looked at Walgreens. Probably made in the same manufacturing facility. Now, has anybody noticed? Remember when only the day after Thanksgiving was called Black Friday? Remember, it was reserved for one day. The day after Thanksgiving, Black Friday. Now, we have Black Friday all year long. Has anybody else noticed that? That now we have Black Friday on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Every day is Black Friday. It's the new term, Kathy, I think, for big sale. If you want to sell an item, Black Friday special. I mentioned that to a friend of mine, and she was like, "Yeah, you're right." For the longest time, Black Friday was the day after Thanksgiving. Because then you had like, oh, for what? You had Black Friday and Blue Saturday, Green Sunday. I mean, but Black Friday was one day a year. And it was the day after Thanksgiving. Now, you have Black Friday all year long. Now, this shaver was originally marked $23.99. Black Friday special $5.99. I would have been really pissed if I'd have bought this for $23.99. I'll tell you that. Yeah, Cyber Monday. That's right. I forgot. Yeah. You had Black Friday and Cyber Monday, which basically supposedly was strictly for online shopping. You could go on Cyber Monday and order like from Walmart and get like 50% off. If you went in the store, you paid full price. That was basically when they really started heavily promoting online special. But now, every Every day is Black Friday. I mean, perfect example. Wednesday, I got an email from AutoZone. Black Friday sale on oil on Wednesday. It's a term to get your attention. That's all it is. A term to get your attention. Although, like I say, I would have been pissed if I would have paid full price for that shaver. Although T-Mobile they'll refund your money. If you buy an item on Monday and the following Friday it goes on sale, you'll get a refund. Yeah, well, since I don't buy on Amazon, I wouldn't know so much about Prime Week. But yeah, Christmas in July, that really irritates me to walk into a store and see a Christmas display with items on sale. Like it's July. It's almost as bad as our goddamn radio station here in Cleveland that November 1st, they start playing Christmas music 24/7. By the time Christmas rolls around, I am tired of hearing goddamn Christmas music. They used to wait until the day after Thanksgiving. Now, the 1st of November, they start playing Christmas music 24/7. Oh, I believe it, Ron. I believe it. They rush the seasons. It's unbelievable. I mean, we haven't even had Thanksgiving. And there's frickin' Valentine's Day shit already. And then they wonder why people basically could give a fuck. And I have already emailed the radio station, the general manager, and I told him I listen almost daily, but comes the 1st of November, I stop listening to your radio station until after Christmas. His reply was, well, sorry to hear that, sir. Your choice. You know, it was bad enough when they would start playing Christmas music the day after Thanksgiving. Then, I think it was 2 years ago, they started on November 1st. and it goes 24/7. By the 1st of December, I am so goddamn fed up with Christmas music. I don't want to hear anymore. And boy, I'll tell you what. When I go into a store and they say, Happy Holiday, I go berserk. Although it's insulting to certain groups of people if you say, have a Merry Christmas. I am getting tired of kissing people's asses, I'll tell you. The government just bows down and kisses people's ass. Same thing if somebody puts Merry Xmas. Oh! I have already sent Christmas cards back to people, telling them how disgusting to put Merry Xmas. I guess there's a lot of people that'll be happy when I take a dirt nap. If I see that, I go, oh, I send cards back. I literally send them back. I pissed a lot of people off. I don't care. Hi, Grumpy, have a Merry Xmas. I just write on the bottom of the card, I am Xing you off my Christmas list. I send the card back. I think it's disgusting. I really do. I think it's utterly disgusting. And there's another thing that pisses me off. We're not going there, sorry. I almost slipped. I'm going to leave that one alone. And it's basically almost every fucking commercial I see. Leave it alone, Grumpy. Leave it alone. Leave it alone. Keep that opinion to yourself. I don't need to get a shitload of hate mail. If you pay attention to commercials, you might catch my drift. Last night, 4 commercials in a row, 4 commercials that pissed me off. What's this world coming to already? Jesus. Tonight I am having supreme chili dogs. Grumpy's Way. I have mainly because I like to taste. I have shredded Mexican blend cheese, which I will line the hot dog bun with. Then when I take the hot dog out of the broiler, I will place it in the bun with the cheese, which melts it very nice. Some ketchup, some stadium mustard, some hot dog chili, and chopped onion. That's what I'm having tonight. Deluxe hot dogs, grumpy style. If my dietitian could see what I'm going to be eating, she'd lose her mind. Thank God I don't have to see her until February. You know, it's amazing. Certain doctors, it's impossible to get appointments with. Now, the end of January, I go see my optometrist because my license will have to renew November 1st of 2026, and I want to make sure the eyes are okay. I made this appointment in July. It's like for the 18th or 19th of January. I made it in July. The dietitian is like April 14th, 2026. Not that I was hoping for an early appointment. My dermatologist, I made the appointment in May. I see the dermatologist on like the 22nd or 23rd of December. I made the appointment in May. That's how far. Is there a big shortage of certain doctors? I don't understand the lead time. We're almost as bad as frickin' Canada. My cousin tells me that basically Doctors are scheduled 6, 7, 8 months out. If you've got an ailment that needs attention right away, you have to go to the emergency room. It's very. I don't know what's going on with the medical system in the United States. I really don't. You know, Metro builds this big gazillion-dollar new hospital, and they're cutting staff left and right. And they want you to check in at a kiosk. Grumpy don't do kiosk. I want live person. Yeah, I don't know, Kathy, if there's fewer doctors in certain practices or the hospital doesn't want to hire more doctors like with my optometrist. You would think that someone like that's in demand. You wouldn't hire more? I couldn't believe it when I went earliest appointment, December. I'm like, what? This is May. Because if there is any change in my eyes where I would need bifocals again, I want to be wearing them at least 6 months in advance to get used to them for when I have to take that fucking eye test at the Bureau of Motor Vehicles. And this isn't the first time I've run across this. Like right now, just for the hell of it. Now, I kind of get the impression that maybe they have like certain blocks of appointments that you can't get. Because, like, my podiatrist, if I went in and looked at the appointment schedule, he is out until March. If I was to make an appointment today, it would be in March. But when I go in the office, I get an appointment a month away. Like when I was there the other day, I have an appointment towards the end of December now. But if I was to go in on my chart and schedule an appointment, it's out next year. It makes no sense. Although we're slowly, you know, like I mentioned, up the street from me, the Wendy's, they want you to walk in the door and place your order on the kiosk. I ignore that fucking thing. I go right up to the counter. I get my order taken. Here's your order number. Watch on the screen. That's why I like rallies. No kiosk, no bullshit. I walked in. The girl opened the window. Bert, can I take your order? Yes, I want 2 of those pretzel pusher combos. Okay, what do you want to drink? Cherry Coke. Okay. Like less than 5 minutes later, here's your food. Thank you. I think Rally's is faster than McDonald's. And when I went the other night, because after I had the free delivery, the burgers were so good, I went back the next night. There was a line in the drive-thru out to the sidewalk. I pulled in, parked, walk up to the window, placed my order. Like 4 minutes later, here you go. Oh, those are good. Them burgers that they have on the pretzel bun. Oh, those buns are delicious. Absolutely delicious. If you like pretzel buns, go to Rally's or Checkers and get that pretzel pusher or pretzel punisher or whatever they call it combo for $5. You get the burger, a small fry, and a small drink. $5. The bun makes the burger. Like I say, it was so good, I went up the next night and got 2 more. Absolutely delicious. And believe me, Rally's is not sponsoring the show. I'm not getting no free burgers, but they are delicious. If you like Rally's or Checkers, give them a try. They're good. Oh, God, I love them. As a matter of fact, I told the girl, what would really kick that sandwich up one more notch was if they had a little pretzel salt on top the bun. Of course, my blood pressure would... Although the medication is working, my blood pressure has dropped quite a bit. Although after eating them burgers the other night, I'm sure it's... No, matter of fact, the nurse that took my blood pressure the other day even commented like, gee, your blood pressure is great. I said, yeah, especially driving in goddamn lunchtime traffic. Oh, people, I'll tell you what. I used to love driving. Not anymore. Oh my God, there were so many assholes on the road. That was like perfect example. The other day when I went to Mark's, I pulled in my parking space and I was checking my grocery list, and this car starts to back into the space in front of me. And I'm watching, and they're backing and backing and backing and backing, and they're like a foot away from me. And I'm laying on the horn. And I get out, and the woman's on her fucking cell phone. You can't put the phone down for 3-4 seconds to back up? What? I guess when she hit me, she decided she'd have been far enough in the parking space. And had I not been in the car, she probably would have. I'm watching that car coming. And people that can't get off their phone while they're shopping and have their fucking phone on speaker. First of all, you're shopping. Hang up the phone. Second of all, I don't want to hear your phone call. Either hold it to your ear or get a Bluetooth. They have the volume full bore, and they're standing there. Talk about ignorant. And it's getting worse. Matter of fact, one of these days I'm going to get smacked. Because if people are coming up the aisle and they're yakking on their cell phone and it's on speaker, as they approach me, I say, hey, can't you put that phone up to your ear? I don't want to hear your conversation. And most of the time I get, fuck yo. The only time I will answer my phone in the store is if I'm expecting an important call. And I have a Bluetooth headset. Otherwise, like if I'm driving, even if I'm waiting for an important call and I have my Bluetooth in, I don't answer the phone. I don't need to be distracted at all. I will call whoever it is back and I will tell them I was driving. That was like when my kid had his what the hell year was that thing? 17. It was a 2017 Impala. As soon as he would get in the car and turn the car on, his phone would pair with the radio, and then he could answer the phone by pushing a button on the steering wheel and talk in the car. I won't even do that. I won't put it on speakerphone. If I'm driving, I'm ignoring that call until I get to where I was going, and I will call back and say, sorry, I was driving. And if somebody calls me while I'm shopping, and it's not an important call, screw it. Leave me a voicemail. I'll call you when I get out of the store. I mean, I've already had friends call, and I'll ignore the call. And then when I get out of the store, I call them back and they say, gee, you had, from the beginning of Bluetooth headsets, you had every one manufactured. I don't need to talk to you when I'm grocery shopping. Sorry. Here's the one when I'm sitting here on my computer and I'm expecting a call. I love this headset. This big, ungodly monstrosity. I will put this one on. I love it. Matter of fact, this is the second one of these I've had. The first one finally quit. My kid bought me a replacement. I just love these big, old... I don't drive with it. I have a small one. This is the one at my desk. Come on. Jesus. If I'm expecting a phone call, this is the one I have. If I'm in a grocery store or somewhere. But if I'm driving, I'm not answering, even though I've got this hooked up to the phone. Nope, 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 nope. I used to really, when I was driving for the limousine service, the dispatcher would get pissed off because I wouldn't answer the phone. I would tell him, hey, I have a two-way radio. All you have to do is say, card 03, call the office. Don't call my phone. When we would leave in the morning, we were issued a two-way radio. Why are you calling me? I know, I'm a crab ass. But that's the way I am. There is no need to be on the phone when you're in the car. There is no need to be on the phone when you're grocery shopping. Like I've said all along, cell phones were the best and the worst invention on earth. Because people feel they have to be on them 24/7. Thank you, Kathy. I'm glad somebody agrees with me. And when I hear these people in the store, the conversation that they're having is not some earth shattering, important. The other day, a woman that was next to me yakking was talking about her neighbor, you know. Oh, Tilly is, an asshole and blah, 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 blah. Was it that important? You couldn't tell the person, I'm going in the grocery store. I'll call you back in about 20 minutes. And the real ignorant thing is when they get to the cash register. Excuse yourself from the call and say, hey, I'm at the cash register. I'm getting ready to check out. No, blah, 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 blah. And then, the cashier will say, that'll be 24.62. And they're like, blah, 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 blah. What? That'll be 24.62. Oh, wait a minute. I gotta find my wallet. Oh, gee, I can't find my credit card. Oh, Jesus. In the store, that's 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 not. You're not allowed to. No, that's considered smoking, even though it's just vapor. It's smoke. But you're not. I know. I have seen stores that say no smoking, no vaping. I mean, basically, this is just harmless air. It's harmless vapor, really. You can't get anything from secondhand vape, but you're not supposed to be doing this in the store. Yeah, well, it's obvious you know I am, but I mean it's just smoke. You can't get anything from secondhand vape, but you are not supposed to vape in a store. Kathy, I saw a guy, oh God, it's got to be a couple of months ago, vaping in McDonald's. And nobody said a goddamn word to him. Well, yeah, right. But I mean, it's not like secondhand cigarette smoke. But yeah, I agree. I wouldn't, when I had my other one, I would take a hit before I went in the store and put it in my pocket. There is nothing that basically I can't wait to get out of the store, you know. But like I say, the guy was sitting in the back of McDonald's. And nobody said a word. I would not. I mean, back in the day, you could smoke anywhere. You could finish your meal in a restaurant and light up a cigarette because they had smoking and non-smoking. I mean, shit, you could smoke in a hospital. I remember they had smoking and non-smoking in rooms in the hospital. You could smoke anywhere. I remember grocery shopping. I remember grocery shopping at A&P before they closed, and the cashiers were sitting at the cash register smoking in between customers. Like when I worked for the county, we could smoke in the office. Everybody did. There were ashtrays out front for the customers. You come in to get a title, and nobody said, hey, when you're in front of a customer, put your cigarette down. But that was a different time when you could smoke anywhere. As a matter of fact, I think we could smoke in church. If I remember right, the Catholic church I went to, the pews had ashtrays. As a matter of fact, the pastor of the church used to smoke when he was giving the sermon. I remember. It would be nothing for him to get up and give the sermon and light up a cigarette. But it was a different time. You could smoke anywhere. And then out came the federal rules and regulations. You couldn't smoke in hospitals. No public building. As a matter of fact, now you can't smoke in a privately owned store. The city has rules that state even if you own it, you can't smoke in it. You're right, Kat. That was a completely different time. Because you could get a smoking seat on a plane. You could. They had smoking cars on trains. I don't think there was anywhere you couldn't. But yeah, it was a way different time. I mention this shit nowadays, and people are like, "Oh, you're full of shit." No, I'm not. You couldn't smoke in a public building. Fuck, I worked in a public building. You gotta be fucking kidding me. You can't smoke in your own house? Oh, now that's drawing the line. Hey, that's going overboard. If I own that house, you're not going to tell me I can't smoke in it. No, I don't know how they ever let that that law get passed. I could see an apartment or a rental house, but your own personal house? No, no, you're not. No. Next thing you're going to tell me I can't drink in my own house. No, I cannot believe the citizens of Arizona let them pass a law like that. That's bullshit. That's invasion of privacy there. You have the right to do whatever you want in your own home. Now, if you're renting, see, my landlord doesn't care because his wife smokes. Because I asked him, I said, he goes, he said, I'm not going to be a hypocrite. You know, my wife smokes. I'm not going to tell you you can't smoke in that house. I have been in an apartment where you couldn't smoke. You had to go out on the veranda. We had little balconies. And if you wanted to smoke, you had to go out on the balcony or out on the back deck. You could not smoke in the apartment. And I had a landlord that would make surprise visits and would walk around looking for ashtrays. And if he caught you smoking in his apartment, that was grounds for eviction. And believe me, he'd walk around sniffing. And I had an ashtray on the deck, and I had an ashtray out on the little veranda. I did not smoke in his apartment. And boy, I'll tell you, when the temperature was -20, It was a quick smoke. Because there was a tenant that tried to cheat by smoking by an open window. Well, the open window's blowing the smoke into the apartment. Ron, there would be no way. I would tell them, fucking arrest me. I'm smoking in my house. I own it. That's like telling you can't smoke in your car. If you own that house and you own that lock, stock, and barrel, you ain't going to tell me what I can and can't do in my own house. Next thing they tell you, oh, well, you can't eat sauerkraut in your house. What? No. I can't believe the citizens of Arizona let that get passed. I cannot believe the citizens of Tempe, Arizona allowed a law like that to pass. I'd move out. I'd say, fuck you. I'm leaving this city. I'd tell the goddamn city, well, fine, if I can't smoke in my house, you make the tax payments. You pay my utilities. Ron, you're an attorney. That law is bullshit. That is an invasion of your privacy. Even so, Ron, if anybody knows, it's you. That law is basically against the Constitution. You're entitled to life, liberty, and peaceful enjoyment in your own home. Have a goddamn area in the city where you can't smoke in your own house. If I'm making a mortgage payment on it, you ain't telling me what I can do in it. Of course, I would end up in jail. That is against people's civil rights. Like I say, I can agree if it's a rental. But if I am making a mortgage payment, you aren't fucking telling me I can't smoke in that house. That is bullshit. They start with that, and the next thing they say, well, you can't shower in your house between the hours of 9 a.m. and 4 p.m. You can't cook breakfast after 10 a.m. It's almost as bad as the goddamn homeowners associations. As a matter of fact, last Sunday, my buddy's wife told me that their neighbor forgot to put her car in the garage. And in the morning, she had a homeowner association ticket on it. Right. I would tell them I have a emotional support cat, and in order to put up with me, Boots needs a cigarette. The pain in the ass. God, I wish he would quit waking me up. 3 times last night. I mean, it's cute as hell, but it's getting irritating. I no sooner fall asleep. And then he decided to lay across my legs, and I couldn't turn over with 22-pound fatso on me. And if I move him, oh, does he throw a shit fit? And he's starting to put the claws in me. Ow! That skin under there. I pull the blanket up, and he moves up. He'll move at least 1 foot over the top of the blanket. Oh, does your cat, like, go in the hallway and so it echoes? My son's cat does that when she's in heat. She'll go in a hallway so it echoes. Meow, 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 meow. Close the door. And then, I have my little ceramic heater going to warm the bedroom up a little more because I don't want to turn the furnace up. Well, then Boots decides he's going to go in the kitchen for a little snack. And he can't just open my bedroom door a little bit. He's got to open it all the way. Then I'm like, Jesus Christ, close the door. And then when he comes back in, he jumps at the door. It goes all the way open. Bangs on my night table. I could kill him. And then he can't go to the foot of the bed and jump up. He has to jump on me. He takes a leap off the floor. Oh, get off of me. He don't listen. I keep telling him, go to the foot of the bed. You can just climb right up. No. Get on the side of the bed, take a leap, land on my chest, break my ribs. That's why I always made sure when I got a kitten that spaying and neutering was included in the adoption. But see, that the cat my son's got was a stray. And he didn't want to pay the money to get her fixed. And I didn't want to pay the money. So now when she goes in heat, and they always go where it echoes. I feel sorry for you, Ron. Especially with them both being in heat at the same time. Oh boy. That's another reason I prefer male cats. I wouldn't get rid of them, though. My buddy. I'm still on the hunt for a roll of pennies. I stopped in 3 different mom and pop stores today. Got any pennies? Well, yeah, I got a drawer full. You got any rolls of pennies? The one guy said yes. I was like, oh my God. Then he looked at them and they were 2024. I said, nope, sorry. He had a brand new roll, uncirculated, but they were 24s, not 25s. I almost pissed myself. He went, yeah, I got one right here. I said, whoa, I'll give you $1 for that roll. Then he looked at it and went, oh, these are 24. I said, Oh my God, I did. I almost pissed myself. If you got any rolls of pennies, brand new roll in the plastic. I said, I'll give you $1. Then he looked at him and went, oh, these are 24. Give me my $1 back. Thank you. I wonder how long he's had that roll of 24 pennies. Jesus. Two and a half weeks too late. Well, now 3 weeks too late. Had I gone to the bank 3 weeks ago when they got their last shipment, I'd have got a couple of rolls. But somewhere, they're out there, somewhere. For now, I'm going through the penny cups. I got 2 today. There they are. I mean, if I ever get 50, I'll roll them, but it won't be the same. They've got to be in the clear plastic, uncirculated. Then after no, they're done, Ron. The mint, as a matter of fact, all mints across the United States 3 weeks ago was the last. They're not striking anymore. 3 weeks ago ended it. There is not a mint in the United States striking pennies anymore. That's what 2 different bank managers told me. The mint isn't making them. They shipped the last of them out. Matter of fact, they made sure that they ran out of blanks. They just kept minting until they were out of blanks, and that was it. And very easily they could have minted steel pennies again. I mean, the reason they stopped is due to the price of copper. They could have very easily switched from copper to steel like they did back in 43 and 44. There was no reason to give up the penny. They could have stamped them in steel. But Mr. Big Hair, because he refuses to even carry pennies in his pocket. Well, he don't even carry change. He said that several times. I haven't carried change in my pocket since the 70s. And now, basically, we're going to get screwed. Because the way they're calculating it is if your purchase is 21.22, the vendor eats the 2 cents. But if it's 23.24, they round up to 25. And the customer eats the difference. Now, as soon as they stopped minting in Canada, they immediately changed their whole monetary system so that it was either 0 or 5. How they managed it, I don't know, but they did. And they haven't had pennies since 2012 in Canada. I know where there's some Canadian pennies. I have two nice shiny rolls. I can see the day they pat me in the face with a shovel, my kid will go, yeah, what's all this shit? Pennies. I have medicine bottles. You know, them plastic. In my dresser drawer. They're all lined up. And they go from, well, I have one container for anything below 1900. Because I have a couple of 1895s and a couple of 1890s. But then from 1900, I have a shitload of plastic containers in my dresser. 1900, 1901, 02, 03, 04. The whole drawer is full. Up until when they changed and did away with the wheat penny, which was, what, 58, 60, something like that. I have to look. They're all labeled. You open my dresser and you move the socks and the handkerchiefs, and there's a whole shitload of medicine bottles. These stupid things. And for the longest time, I would go through penny cups and go, oh, look, a wheat penny, 1949. Okay, bring it home, drink. I know, stupid, but I used to have a shitload of Kennedy halves. I don't know what the hell happened to them over the years. I think I've got maybe like 4 Kennedy halves. And I've got 3 Susan B. Anthony's, which were about as worthless as can be. People hated them goddamn Susan B. Anthony's because they made them like the size of a quarter. You mention them and people are like, who? What? We had a dollar coin? Yep, and people hated them too. They should have made them the size of at least a half dollar. Stupid. Well, I think it's time to make me some deluxe hot dogs. Right here Have a wonderful rest of your evening. Thanks for being here and putting up with my grumpy ass tonight. And with that, enjoy the rest of your night. And we will meet again tomorrow. Take care, everybody.